Theater of the Mind.
Theater of the Mindset.
Last week on Faith and Fortune, we went back home to Risinium City, where Luken received encouragement from his boss to, quote, burn in his work to subdue the Cult of Metamorphasis. Harry met with his colleague Senator Constantine about their shared vision for the Senate, and all three of our friends were called into a special meeting to deal with the looming disaster in the northern town of Hilford. Sahra, with the help of 6 wildfire witches, saved the day by chasing off the Ymir spirit, allowing for the rescue of Hilford, and then a few days later word broke out that the town of Warren had declared their independence while half their garden had left to help in Hilford. And along with that, they had some interesting demands for the Council of Faith. We pick up 2 weeks later.
2 weeks have passed since Warren has demanded its own independence from Venithar. Risinium City's citizens are constantly talking about what actions they think their leadership should be taking. Constantly, people are discussing the merits of Archon Felix and his position on the Council of Faith, recalling the mistakes and the boons that he has brought to his position. They discuss the merits of the Senate and whether or not more power and more representation should be brought to that group of individuals, and whether or not change really does belong, not just in the domain of Baaz, but in the culture and the landscape of Venithar itself. Some say it's inevitable. Others say that it has already come to pass. In the Hill of Faith, a district of Risinium City where many of the temples and centers of worship are located, inside of a small meeting room, we see Prelate Luken Mascar with another member of his church, Senator Grant Freelight. He is a dwarven man. His blonde hair and blonde beard, curly, slightly unkept. He constantly has a blush to his cheek. Both of them sit in front of missives and reports that they have reviewed. A group of individuals taking with them a set of quests already approved. They close the door behind them, leaving Senator Grant and Prelate Luken in the room before the next group of petitioners come in. Senator Grant looks at his empty mug of coffee and the number of reports and missives that he has yet to review. I suppose we should probably get some more coffee before we review the next set.
I think that's right. I don't think there's enough coffee in the world to get us through all of this. So, would you mind going and making another pot?
I can do that.
Or should we send for somebody?
No, I can do it.
Okay.
I promise this time I won't make a mess.
Practice makes perfect. And this pot, the most recent pot, was way better than your last one. It was almost liquid this time. So, you're doing great.
I think the grounds give it a nice texture, honestly.
It's a bold move to go with chewable coffee. Yeah, but maybe this time let's focus on drinkable.
You can't deny that it has a lot more kick.
Yeah, we moved through that last set in record time. So, you know what? I trust you. Follow your heart. This is an important task that we're sending you on here.
Prelate, but forgive me. That last group that we sent out, things are bad up north. You're on the task force overseeing Warren. Is there any relief in the future? We can't keep sending adventurers up to the north and hope that that will relieve this from Risinium City. We really need Warren to serve as a center of operations in the north to continue their purpose up there. Is there any relief in sight?
Grant, there's no easy way to say this. The task force we're up against it. everyone knows how crucial Warren is. Everyone knows how much we've relied on the work they do to keep the North from being overrun. But at the same time, discontent, not just in Warren, but across Venithar, discontent has kind of been bubbling up. So just between you and I, absent some kind of crackdown, I don't see a fast solution here. And I don't see how a crackdown would be successful, even if it was desirable. We just have a lot of work to do to come up with something resembling a sustainable solution in Warren. And in the meantime, what we are tasked with here in this room is to do the absolute best we can with the petitions in front of us and to empower the adventurers that we ordain to hold everything together as long as it takes.
In your few years working with Sender Freelight, he is a bit of a follower, and you are the equivalent of, he officially oversees the church here, but benefits from having a higher up official in his city, and so gets to lean on your leadership a little bit more than maybe some other officials in your church might get. And so doesn't have to make tougher calls. You are there to make those decisions for him. And so he is going to lean on what you say in this moment and grabs your mug of coffee and gestures and says, as you say, Prelate, as you say, and heads out. You have a couple of minutes before he returns to kind of review the potential next set of quests before the next group of adventurers who will take those preordained quests with them, and before Sender Freelight comes back.
Luken is used to being out in the field and being a doer still. He's been a seraph and a prelate for quite some time, but the sitting behind the desk part of the job still is not his forte. It's still not, the thing he finds fulfilling in this work. He walks over and he flips on the radio in this office and takes these few minutes to just reflect on what he's doing here. The last few weeks have put him in a spot where he's had to confront things he thought he knew about the Church of Vaz. He got to where he is by just finding the hardest thing to do and doing it really well, and that has always been enough. But where things stand since Warren declared its independence have made it such that that calculus isn't easy anymore. It isn't necessarily easy to say, this is the biggest challenge in front of me, and I just go conquer it, and that's how I curry favor with Vaz. Over the last couple weeks, when he's had these few quiet moments, like when Sender Freelight is out getting coffee, he is thinking through and trying to nail down what it is he actually will go to bat for, other than just advancing the Church of Vaz. Is there something else out there that is worth taking a stand for, as opposed to, hey, if I'm advancing Vaz's cause, I'm doing what's right, because if the god of good fortune wants it to happen, it is inherently good. And so with each of these quests that comes in, trying to hold the North together, dealing with Warren, these questions just get louder and louder of, what if the folks in Warren have a point? What if independence is something that they deserve, that they're entitled to? What if the Cult of Metamorphasis has a point? What if it is time to encourage change in a more explicit way, or more specific, a more direct way? On the other side of that coin, though, Luken is incredibly unsettled by Isarn's involvement in events to date. And in each one of these quests he reviews, each one of these missives he reads, he's trying to read between the lines and get any kind of hint about where Isarn is, what his actual role in events is, with the ultimate hope of still trying to answer the question of whether and how Asher was placed into his current role as the monarch.
As you were thinking these thoughts, have you rolled your prayer dice yet?
I have not.
Will you go ahead and roll your prayer dice for me?
You're not allowed to use good things against people.
But I am allowed to use this fear against people.
Yeah. Okay, I am rolling my beginning of session prayer dice. Oh, okay. It's like a perfect roll, so I'm mad about what you're going to do. I got 2 4s and a 3.
Great. I'm going to spend a
of course you
fear.
are.
Faith depends on conviction, and your lack of conviction, your questions in this moment, not, I think, unwelcome, will, though, interfere with your ability to channel faith, divine magic. And I'm going to have you reduce your 4 by 2.
I got 2 4s.
One of
the
your
4s
by 2.
That's works. And I think as this happens, Luken's wings feel heavier. You know, ordinarily flap the wings and go, but he feels the weight of the wings in a way he hasn't since he can remember.
You hear Sender Freelight laughing as he opens the door. There are 2 other individuals with him. A halfling man that you recognize as Jalen Kaelwyn. The Kaelwyns are a well-to-do family. Jalen is not in the most important branch of that family, but he is a long-standing ally of the Baaz Church, and oftentimes, as a paladin of Baaz, will go on longer ventures and kind of organize groups of adventurers around like a larger set of quests and keep them in line, basically organizing several parties around one cause. And then you also see Riley Lowdrift, a cleric of Diano, which is the god of health and medicine. These 2 are going to be the individuals who will kind of take your next set of preordained quests north. And they've joined Sender Freelight as he hands you your cup of coffee and sits down. You see that he has done a pretty mid job. It looks like he has poured an okay cup of coffee in this moment. A 10 out of 20, you might say.
So this room I'm in, is it like my desk? Like, do I have my shit in there?
This is a larger meeting room, maybe 20 feet by 15 feet, with a large table, a couple of books. You would probably have maybe brought some of your stuff in here. Not personal items, but if you needed reference materials or things like that. There's definitely maps in here, things that you would need to organize this type of conversation.
Every meeting room, you know, that's under kind of Baz's purview, has a little cart with all those fancy like syrups you can put in your coffee.
Oh, absolutely.
So I take my first sip of this coffee, and I say to Sender Grant, "Hey, this is great, really good work. We appreciate it." And then I turn and put an obscene number of pumps of vanilla syrup into this coffee.
It's not very Bozzy. Vanilla.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me take that again. I put an obscene number of hazelnut syrup into this coffee, and top it with whipped cream.
There it is. There it is.
Before I go sit back down, I kind of gesture to Sender Freelight. Same for you. Do you?
Oh no, I'm okay. I think this is good. You can see that he has like spilled a significant amount of his coffee on his hands in his effort to carry both the coffees and hold conversation with the 2 individuals into the room.
This man has just gotten stupider as the time.
He's trying his best. He's trying his best.
He can't hold coffee.
Not and talk at the same time.
Yeah, it's.
Sender Freelight, did you offer our guests a drink?
Oh, let me go grab them some coffee.
Well, do they want it? Jalen, great to see you. Riley, always a pleasure. Can we get you guys anything?
Yeah, I could go for some coffee. Riley nods in agreement. Sender Freelight kind of curtly nods and then walks out very quickly, leaving you, Jalen, and Riley in the room. They look at you kind of expectantly and without much hesitation, kind of recognizing you as the actual kind of decider in this situation, knowing that Sender Freelight really kind of just focuses on the workings of the church, the physical Church of Boz here in Risinium City, and you kind of manage the larger picture and strategy of the church. Know that the person that just left the room is not important to this meeting, but you are the one that they have come to see. Prelate Mascar, thank you for seeing us today. I see that you've kind of received our propositions for preordained quests. I'm happy to cover at a high level for you what we've presented. I do want to highlight, though, that we have gotten a number of requests from the locals. I'm sure as a member of the task force, you've got more information than we do, but rest assured that my eyes and ears on the ground say that Warren is not a monolith of support for the Cult of Change, and we believe that there are individuals in that town who are sympathetic with you and the canon of the church, and it is our responsibility to come to their aid. And I think that these quests reflect that need. I hope that you see that.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate the work you do for us. And Luken just kind of takes a deep breath here. And of course, protecting the North and working to keep Warren as part of this kingdom is important for the well-being of everybody, not just in Risinium City, but throughout the North. And while the task force is working tirelessly, I take a giant swig of my sugar coffee to solve this conflict. Day to day on the ground, the best way we can serve Boz is by serving the North in its entirety and keeping people safe. And I think that's why we're here, is these quests aimed at maintaining security.
Prelate Mascar, if I may be so bold,
You may.
Is safety enough? I understand that many of the guard evacuated the city to come to the aid of Hilford, but those that remained, while some were taken prisoner, many were killed. We need to show a strong hand in this moment, do we not? Should we not be treating this as it is, which is, frankly, a cult of evil? They've usurped the authority of this town.
That is the type of question that the task force is working on.
Does the task force even know where Isarn is? Surely you do. Surely you're doing something about this, right?
Before I answer, how well would I know them? Like, are they routinely in here talking to me? Like, are they essentially lobbyists?
They are essentially lobbyists. Give me a knowledge check to give me to give yourself more information.
I'm so smart. Don't even worry about it. 14 with hope.
Okay. Jalen is aggressive and will always favor asking for forgiveness before asking for permission. And you view them as a very useful tool. It is a symbiotic relationship in that they are always looking for adventure and a way to prove themselves. Previously, Kaelwynds have had senator positions. They are a well-to-do family, and generally, while they can be a bit much, by and large, they also can put their money where their mouth is. So they're not entirely without merit. Riley is a cleric of Dino and a little bit more even-tempered. I think you know that Riley and Jalen are often paired together because Riley offers a equalizing view and can often be used to temper the boisterous response of Jalen, but will never give that information up readily. It has to be like drawn out of them.
In response to the direct question of, you guys know where Isarn is, right?
Yep.
Luken absolutely does not want to tell these two that they have no clue where Isarn is. The public information of his whereabouts are unknown is true for the task force as well. But he doesn't want to show that level of weakness in this conversation. So he's, leans in close to Jalen and Riley, looks over to the door to make sure it's shut. Listen, Jalen, Riley, you have to understand that any information about Isarn is being kept very close at this point because he's sly and he's smart, and any information about his whereabouts could cause him to move again, to escape again, and that's not information that can be divulged at this point. I hope you understand. I need you to trust that I am representing Baz on this task force, and we are doing everything we can to manage an incredibly delicate situation.
Of course, we understand. Thank you for reminding us, and we appreciate everything you and the rest of the task force are doing. I think we just want to ensure that we're in alignment with the bigger picture and appreciate that your oversight in this matter is providing that for us. Thank you.
And while we're on the topic, I don't know if I, just where I'm sitting, would be willing to ascribe evil to every member of the Cult of Change. Many of them are people we've worshipped with for years. And casting them out entirely, I just worry it would cause us to lose a huge percentage of our community. And the long-term consequences of that for the Church of Baz and its standing overall is worrying to me.
Give me a presence check.
I am going to use bold presence.
It's a controversial statement that
I know. But yeah, I'm using bold presence so I can spend a hope to add my strength to the roll.
Great.
So I get +5 now. And I'm using a prayer die too. That is going to be a 25 with fear. So I'm not using a prayer die, but 25 seems good to me.
Jeez. I think your quiet assertion here makes them both kind of sit back and recognize your position of authority. And they recognize that you have a lot more information than they likely do. But I think you catch a glint of anger in Jalen's eyes that as you talk about them not being entirely evil, and kind of understand that he doesn't necessarily give them, while he believes what you're saying, he might view them as caught up and misguided in this moment, and maybe your defense of them makes him wonder where you stand in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, he strikes me, my impression of him is that he is a guy who the status quo works really well for.
Yes.
Right. So, Luken's not surprised by that response.
Yes.
Internally, Luken is willing to say things like this because he finds them to be true at this point. We've talked before about how the gods get their power or not how the gods, how the Council of Faith works. And if the Cult of Metamorphasis is, 25% of the Church of Baz right now, and they all say, our way or the highway, and we say highway, and they're gone, what happens if Baz loses 25% of its people? Right? That is an actual worry for Luken as he's navigating this.
And reasonably speaking, if that were to happen, the chances of Baz losing their seat on the Council of Faith is very high.
Yeah, Luken is wrestling with this. Okay, is it important for us to... What is most important? Vaz maintaining its current status on the Council of Faith? Is it staying true to the current tenets of Vaz and not allowing those to change at all, i.e. taking a hard line? Is it listening to people who have valid complaints? In Charnwick, he saw the consequence of crackdowns on protesters, and that shook him quite a bit. And so there's beyond the strategic, what does this mean for the Church of Vaz? There is also the, hey, it might be the right thing to do to try and accommodate this new wing of the faith, or at least hear them out and be willing to try and incorporate them in a way that works. So Luken is willing to, in spots like this, use his position to say things that might be slightly objectionable to folks like Jalen, but it is on purpose. These are not slips of the tongue. He is trying to introduce some of these ideas to the folks that he talks with on a day-to-day basis, just to keep that communication going.
Senator Freelight comes in. He has 2 full mugs of coffee. He can carry 2 cups of coffee at the same time.
So long as he doesn't have to talk to anybody.
So long as he doesn't have to talk at the same time. He hands them to Jalen and Riley, sits them down, sits down in his chair, kind of gets himself comfy. And
as soon as he gets himself comfy, I look to Jalen and Riley and say, do you guys syrup? Hazelnut? We got hazelnut, we got almond, we got vanilla chocolate.
I would love some almond. Some almond.
Senator Freelight, do you mind?
Oh, yeah, of course. Let me grab. He gets up, walks over, gets some. Would you like some whipped cream? Oh, with some sprinkles, ideally. That would be great. He spends a good 3 minutes making this coffee.
I think that is the Kalen House special, is the whipped cream and the sprinkles. You guys invented that, right?
It's a key part of our family fortune. We don't talk about it enough.
Well, look. You have our eternal gratitude.
Honestly, we benefit the most from it.
I say, as I have the whipped cream mustache from drinking it myself.
You all kind of spend the next hour reviewing a number of quests that are basically submissions from local townsfolks, important members of the community. The Vaz Church goes through these requests and preordains quests that adventurers can then take on, knowing that Vaz has blessed them. You can probably approve a third of them preordained. And then obviously any number of adventurers can always come to you directly and ask for blessing for their specific quest. I'm going to give you the spectrum that you have, and then you can tell me where in that spectrum you want your quests of preordained to fall.
Sure. Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. On the far side, you have quests calling for the immediate removal, a violent removal of the powers currently in Warren, freeing those currently, they're saying, being held hostage by cultists in the town, using things like, in the most extreme scenarios, actively killing the cultists, not trying to take as many prisoners, just trying to remove them as much as possible. On the other side, you have rescue missions, going in and using little pocket dimensions to pull people out. The people who are maybe not sympathetic to the cult of change, and just remove them from Warren, but merely trying to remove those who are not sympathetic to the cult of change from that town and get them out. In the middle, you have some degree of offering aid to that town, regardless of who receives the aid. Because it's been cut off from Venithar entirely, they are dealing with anything that you would expect from a town that was previously a part of a larger system that is no longer. Like, it doesn't have access to way gates anymore. So it's like running low on food and these things. And so they're just like looking to bring aid, just people looking to help out, because no one really deserves to suffer as political decisions are being made. That's the middle ground. What kind of quests, and you can ask questions, like what kind of quests are you thinking you're going to approve?
So I have this in 3 categories that I have written down shortly as crackdown, rescue, aid.
Yes.
Right. You said aid is the middle ground.
Aid is kind of the middle ground because no one's happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the two extremes, neither are happy with that because it's not dealing with the problem at hand. It's just allowing people to survive.
Warren, in general, is just a super important spot up there, like, to hold the line, right? Like,
yes.
A world where Warren is wiped off the map is bad for everybody, at least theoretically. Like,
the War of the Lost is, like, Warren is key in the war against the Lost.
Like, they are a bastion.
Yes.
But right now they're not helping, right? They've been cut off and they're not doing shit. Luken is not interested in the crackdown type of quests. As he's been kind of explaining to the folks he's been talking to today, that seems like, to him, a short-sighted move. Maybe we get control of Warren back in the short term. It does nothing to quell the cult, which we have evidence is not just in Warren. Like, it's pretty widespread based on what we learned out in Charnwick. It's treating a symptom in a really permanent way that seems like counterproductive for kind of broader goals. On a personal level, I think Luken is very inclined towards the aid option. He, again, is just carrying a lot of sympathy for folks who are suffering through no fault of their own after what he saw in Charnwick. He recognizes in a way he never had before that these machinations at the high level hurt people who are just trying to, exist, trying to live their lives. But in this case, Luken is going to be choosing to authorize, preordain the rescue and removal options, largely because at this point, Warren is not helping the defense of Venithar in its current state. In order to solve that problem, the task force is going to have to be able to work through like a sustainable solution here. The hope is by rescuing folks who are, on the ground there, who are experiencing what's happening in Warren, and bringing them back to Risinium City, the task force can learn from them about what's happening in Warren, get information, and hopefully get information that's useful towards coming up with a broader solution here. So that is Luken's kind of strategy as he is ordaining these quests, is to focus in on getting folks out, especially folks who are at risk of mistreatment by the cultists who are currently in charge. That's where we're going.
Riley Lowdrift, the cleric of Diano, seems particularly pleased with this and says, we have a number of scrolls of healing and create food and water that will be helpful in offering aid to these people on the way back. We think that we can use scrolls of dimension door and pocket dimensions and rope tricks to get them out stealthily without risk to them. I appreciate you approving these quests. Thank you, Prelate.
Go with Boz.
They gather up the approved missions, leaving those that you did not preordain behind. Sender Freelight takes a minute with you after they leave and says, that is a bold decision on your part, Prelate.
What makes you say that, Sender? What would you have done?
Oh, I don't know. I think the cult is a problem, and I think I would have probably chosen to eliminate them if I had had the opportunity, to be perfectly honest. I think choosing mercy is wise, and I think that you've made the right decision in the longer term, of course, Prelate. I just worry that we're just moving victims from one place to what I worry will be a problem place in the future.
That is very insightful, Sender. I worry that a crackdown at this point could incite, frankly, a civil war within our own church, and I'm not ready to authorize a course of action that could be that catastrophic if it goes poorly.
I worry that the war is already here, and our hesitancy to decide is only going to make it worse. But saving individuals is never the wrong choice. Thank you, Prelate.
Thank you, Sender. This is,
Of course.
your work is not going to go unnoticed.
I merely attend this church, and honestly, Attendant Gashett, he is doing a lot of the work for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. He is doing his best. He's gonna do great works once he's actually ordained. I'm very happy with him. So, if anything that you're seeing from me, I honestly laud him as much. Thank you.
It sounds like you're trying to introduce humility as a tenet.
Oh, I absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Give yourself some credit.
Thank you. I do make very good coffee. Thank you. He leaves, kind of leaving you in this room by yourself. It is not long before you hear a tapping on the window pane overlooking the city. And outside, there is a bird with a note attached to its foot.
I go to the window pane. Do I recognize this bird?
You recognize this bird. It is a seahawk. It is a conjured seahawk. This is the way in which Archon Felix Rondelus, will sometimes communicate with his prelates. It is a magical missive, essentially.
I open the window and grab the missive and read it.
The missive says, "The prelate of the Grail will handle Isarn."
That's it?
That's
all it says? I pocket the missive. Who is the prelate of the Grail?
The prelate
of the Grail.
Each of the 4 prelates of Baaz are like represented by the 4 weapons that he wields in his forearms. The prelate of the Grail is Verilyn Constant, or Prelate Constant. She is a very capable, as is often the case for the prelate of the Grail, a very capable magic user. And this makes sense to you. If she's a capable magic user, she's going to probably try to divine his location. And you would know that she is if each of you kind of serve a role, her role is kind of being Archon Felix's eyes and ears. You are his, although he would never admit this out loud, his peer, like the one he confides in. And the prelate of the staff is his actual successor, the one who will take over for him.
So it's a named successor. Like, we all know who's in line for that right now. It's not a Felix goes away and then the prelates go do a Hunger Games
Correct.
thing. Okay. One of Warren's demands is that Isarn would be named a prelate.
Yes.
Did they identify which prelate they want him to be?
They did not.
Okay.
Nope.
We don't know that it's like they want Isarn to be prelate of the staff and then Felix to step down and then Isarn takes the role. We don't know that.
Correct.
But it seems plausible.
Yeah.
Okay. So she would be looking for Isarn. This is kind of going backwards a little bit, but the cult of the blood and the body swap and that conspiracy, walking into the basement in Charnwick and finding the writings is the first any of the three of us had heard of that
Custodia Sangua.
Custodia Sangua, and specifically the, like, king's not the king thing.
Correct.
This is not, like, a wide rumor amongst the powerful, right?
Correct.
So Verilyn is not a person who, if I'm like, hey, have you heard about this cult? About the Sanguis cult, not the Cult of Change. She's not a person to be like, oh, yeah, everyone's heard about that. That's some late night talk radio shit that nobody cares about. It's like, what are you talking about kind of thing. Okay. I would like to independently reach out to Verilyn or be ready to independently reach out to Verilyn at some point here. But for now, that's good information for me to have.
Mm-hmm.
Am I to interpret this from Felix as him telling me to leave it alone? Is that kind of implied in saying the Grail is handling this, is you are not?
Yes.
Okay.
I think much in the way that he kind of told you to previously handle Isarn,
Right.
and he is now being like, oh no, Prelate Constant has this now.
Yeah.
And she is going to divine his location and handle this.
Okay.
I will also remind you of rumors of the anointed status on
Right.
Isarn,
Yeah.
which would convolute the prelate status in general. Prelates are, like, technically still administrative positions, right?
We're appointed. We're
Yes.
like, yeah.
An anointed is truly like Boz being like, oh no. It doesn't matter whether they were a backcountry church priest or not, put them to the top right now. They speak on my behalf. I talk to them regularly and directly. Regardless of where they are administratively in the church, they get a seat at every table and are now, like, responsible for a lot of things. I think the rumors of him as anointed is far more concerning than him getting a position as a prelate.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because if he is anointed, and it wouldn't matter if there is who is the Archon Archon's going to listen to the anointed.
Yeah, you listen to the literal voice of your god.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Later that evening, passing through the commons, the area of Risinium City occupied by the everyday person, we find Sahra Cassine moving through an area of the city that she is maybe a little bit more unfamiliar with, far from the home of the king where she has stayed as ward of Venithar, venturing into even the poorer areas of the commons. Though this evening she is not alone, the sound of cracking glass accompanies her, and she knows that Amanette, her spirit companion, is nearby. How do we find Sahra this evening?
Sahra is wearing her, like, traveling clothes. She's got on a long skirt and a jacket that has a hood on it, in colors of deep purple. And she is feeling a lot of anxiety of the unknown. And she realizes that she has found herself in a unique and powerful situation on this task force. And with all of this questions about who is the real king, who is holding the power, and ultimately she wants to know, she knows that she has a particular role in this position, but she doesn't know ultimately what is her purpose and what should she really be fighting for.
The space between the stars, the darkness where Amanette resides, echoes your feelings and responds.
You seek answers to questions you have not asked.
A shiver goes down Sahra's spine, and yet she smiles a little. I've missed you.
I have been wandering, seeking, finding, searching, looking.
Amanette, I need to know why I was brought here. I need to know what is my purpose here. I'm going to roll 4d6 and hope that I get some matching numbers. I got 2 6s.
You're pretty sure you got last time.
Which is what I got last time. So I witness a relevant scene play out.
And can you read that ability for me?
Says, during a long rest, you can commune with an entity, which is my spirit, Amanette. Ask them a question, then roll 4d6. If any of the dice have matching values, reference the chart below for the effect. If there are multiple matches, you get more than one effect. So 2-6 is you witness a relevant scene play out.
As you were walking down this alley, you are headed to meet a friend. You are headed to meet Aggie, who you met amongst the wildfire druids a few weeks back. But in communing with your spirit, the environment around you begins to shift and change. On your right side, the homes begin to rot and decay, and you see the commons become a war-torn city. It's almost like you're seeing an alternate version of Risinium City in the future that is besieged with war. People are crying inside of dilapidated buildings, roofs caved in, smoke coming from charred remains of homes, smashed windows in front of shops, doors hanging on their hinges, and your proximity to the wreckage on your right seems to make matters worse. War is drawn to you. On your left, on the other side of this small road alley that you walk on, the commons is cleaned up. It is the opposite of what you see on your right-hand side. The buildings are refreshed. They feel it is midday, and people are moving from building to building, celebrating some type of festival. They carry food and loaves of bread from house to house. There are ribbons in their hair. They are putting and hanging lavender from the thresholds of their door. The air is thick with the smell of fresh cut herbs, and you can see large, fluffy clouds in the sky. And this is a Venithar, a Risinium City that you have not seen but on rare occasions. It's like those spring days when you are somehow magically lifted by like 65 degrees, even though like maybe in the summer that might be considered cold. This is like the first warm day in a spring where you just feel naturally happier by being outside. That is everything to your left. The people around and on the street on your left are full of life and vigor and vitality. And you walk the line between these two spaces perfectly. And you hold this balance and know that the decisions that you are involved with will decide the future of Risinium City. The vision ends.
Sahra stops dead in her tracks, and her eyes get wide, and she starts breathing really heavy, and she's sweating, and her hands start trembling, and the weight of this is really hitting her, and realizing that somehow, some way, the fate of Risinium City and the fate of Venithar is in her hands. And her head starts spinning of, if I make the wrong choices, if I trust the wrong people, I could ruin everything for everybody. But if I'm successful, I could be the reason that there's peace. And this is really heavy.
I'm going to spend a fear, and you feel Amanette slither and plant a seed.
Who says the right decision is saving Venithar? Do you not follow a false king?
What are you telling me? Is that my purpose? To take down Asher?
You seek truth. He is lies.
I seek truth. Truth for the people.
Think of the decisions that he has made, the pains that he has caused.
And the heft of the bottle of memories that you have of the Steel Morrow tribe and what they're currently experiencing from a decision that Asher made in a previous life as Esau. You feel that in this moment.
Sahra remembers what Amira Rashad told her at Sharnwick about, we have to show them all. If my purpose is to seek the truth, I have the truth. I have the memories. There's no denying memories. I need to show them all.
Oh, honey, you look like you've seen a ghost. And you see Aggie is huddled underneath an awning of a soup kitchen not far down the road. Her shawl is kind of wrapped around her shoulders against the spring night air. Her hair is kind of pulled back. You still see some singed ends. Again, she's choosing that. She doesn't have to let the fire singe her hair. She's choosing that. And she kind of beckons you forward in her direction and will give you a big hug when you get close. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Aggie!
I'm so glad you could make it tonight. My friends are so excited to meet you.
I'm excited to meet them too.
Please, come in.
Shuffle in and I take my coat off.
Oh, let me take that for you. You are in a large soup kitchen. There are a number of tables. The room is filled with an absolute amalgamation of diverse people. You see humans, orcs, ribbits, halflings, gnomes, just an absolute diverse melting pot of people, all of whom are talking to each other, shuffling around. You immediately are overwhelmed with a sense of community. You see a large hearth burning on the far end of the hall, and people are passing around warm cinnamon rolls, and a small child kind of hands you one in passing, and Aggie returns back, having put your coat up on a coat rack, and she says, "I'm so excited you could come tonight. I know in the past it's been hard to schedule these around. You're just so busy, but I'm glad it could work tonight. I think everyone's very excited to meet you."
And I'm holding my cinnamon roll and I'm looking around the room and my eyes are kind of darting around at all the different people. And I've just got this grin on my face and I feel like really happy and comfortable and just excited to be here. So I turn to Aggie and I go, "So what are we doing here?"
Well, tonight's just kind of a gathering night, so we don't have a strict agenda, but I know that you are particularly interested in what's happening with the folks over in the Steelmarrow tribe. So I want to introduce you to Lars. He is a community organizer here, and he has some relatives who are members of the Steelmarrow tribe, and so he brings us news from them, and so I think he would be someone that you would be particularly interested in meeting. I want to introduce him to you, if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
She takes you over to this 8-foot tall man who has clearly finished 2 cinnamon rolls already and is well on his way to finishing his 3rd. He is an absolutely burly man. He has one eye in the center of his head. He is absolutely yoked. He wears a fur jacket and is got a kid bouncing on one of his knees and another kid trying to climb his back as he's just having casual conversation with those around him. He sees Aggie and gives her a wave and gestures to you and, "Oh, hello, you must be the individual I'm expected to meet this evening. Lars Brown, nice to meet you."
Sahra Manisblood. It's a pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you. Aggie has said an innumerable amount of wonderful things about you.
I start turning kind of like a warm orangey yellow color as I'm just feeling warmth and love on the inside.
Please, have a seat. I see you already have a roll. Can I get you another one?
Maybe later. I'll finish this one first and see.
Well, whenever you're ready, they make excellent rolls here. Excellent rolls. I understand that you are interested in the events happening currently over in the Steelmarrow tribe?
Yes. I really just am wondering just what's real and what's true.
It is hard to get factual news out of what's happening over there. The powers that be are not interested in spreading the truth around, shall we say. They are interested in their own agendas, and I unfortunately have a few family members in the Steelmarrow tribe and am able to get news from them directly. I'm happy to share with you what information I have, and hopefully we can maybe someday take action on that. And you see a couple members, maybe 6 or 7 people around the general area seem to be agreeing with that. This is a community gathering of like-minded sympathizers. I think you can get the general idea from the group of people gathered here late night in a soup kitchen in the Commons area. Everyone's having conversations with purpose here. There is, as Aggie said, not an agreed upon agenda, but no one is lollygagging around. They are all having very intentional conversations. You see people moving from area to area. You see blacksmiths, you see tanners. These are people with important jobs, and they are using their connections to their advantage. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I'll start by saying things are taking a turn for the worst. It seems as though there are ships coming from the Tarnod Kingdom in the last month or so, and we anticipate that another group of individuals be taken from the Steelmarrow tribe back to the Tarnod Kingdom's homeland. They do this from time to time whenever they have gathered enough magically gifted individuals from the tribe that they plan to take back to their homeland.
So, people are being taken? Like, are they being kidnapped, or?
Well, they would never define it as that. I'm sure you're aware that Tarnod work on a very strict caste system, and they don't view magic in the same way that they do here in Venithar. They view magic as a very strict tool, and those who are capable of magic should be controlled.
How are they controlling them?
They have instruments that allow them to restrict when and how those capable of wielding magic, they can control when they are capable of accessing that power. And they have outright forbidden any amount of divine magic. And so the Steelmarrow tribe's knowledge of primal magic, particularly around their knowledge of primal magic using the fell iron that is native to that area, is been a particular boon to the Tarnod Kingdom. So we think that they're using that to their advantage.
I mean, fell iron is primarily used for weapons, am I correct?
Yes. Particularly powerful weapons.
So, what are they building an army?
We suspect that they're combining the Steelmarrow's knowledge of the old magic, of primal magic, with their mastery of artificery to create incredibly powerful magical weapons. And they're doing it on their homeland. They are saying people who rightfully belong on the homeland. But I think kidnapping is an apt term.
So, let me get this straight. So, they're taking members of the Steelmarrow tribe back to Tarnod and then using their magic to create these weapons to, hold the Steelmarrow tribe captive as prisoners?
Oh, the Steelmarrow tribe is already captive and prisoners. Most of them in the annexed land on the east of the Ur Nation.
So if the Steelmarrow tribe is already being captive, then what are these weapons meant to be used? Who are these weapons meant to be used against? Do you know?
That is not information that I have. If we could save some of these people, that might be information that they have. After he says that, one of the people listening in kind of gives a cough and says, I might have something, I might have an idea. And this small simian kind of raises his hand and he says, "Hi, I'm Aubin. I'm an attendant at the Bazin Church here in Risinium City, and I happen to know of a contingent of adventurers who are leaving Risinium City with a number of scrolls that can be used to to help people escape. This group is tasked to help people escape from Warren, but maybe if we apprehend their goods, the things that they're planning to use to help people escape from Warren, maybe we could help them escape from the Taranad Kingdom. Would that be helpful? I know where they're going to be.
Yeah. Amin, look at you.
Yeah, I'm just happy to help.
Well, you've been very helpful.
I think what's happening to the Steel Marrow tribe is horrible. I think it's really unjust.
Yes, thank you for saying that. I'm glad that somebody in the church is able to see that.
Whoa. Now, that's all well and good, but no one here is really capable of taking on or apprehending these goods from a group of adventurers, right? We're all just common folk. We've got some blacksmiths and some tanners, but now, Sahra's a very capable witch. She would be very handy in a moment like this, right, Sahra? You could do something.
Yeah, I could do something. I might even maybe know somebody who could help us out.
Oh, like who?
Just an old friend. He might be able to... He's a fellow adventurer. He could maybe help us out.
Wonderful. Great. Well, it seems like we might have some ideas here. Do we want to formulate some additional plans? I can get you some coffee. We might have a long night ahead of us.
Sure, I'd love a cup of coffee.
You all chat for a little bit longer, and there's some mingling that happens. You eventually find yourself alone, and everyone has kind of been surprised. You are a boon to this group of people in that your abilities far outstrip theirs. They are passionate and knowledgeable, but not as capable in terms of adventuring skills. But they are planners, and so they are now organizing some of the logistics in terms of finding out where exactly the best point for you might be to intercept these adventurers, what exactly kind of goods they might be acquiring from them, and how they might organize that to save the members of the Steel Marrow tribe. They're very much focused on that aspect of this plan, getting the members of the Steel Marrow tribe out, and not so much they are counting on you to handle the getting the goods. And that has left you a little bit on your own in this community gathering space. What do you want to do?
So what Sahra is going to do, so she's, in her corner, she's watching all of this going on. She's seeing all the people coming up with ideas and realizes that she is suddenly the muscle of the group, which is surprising to her and a little scary. And so she needs to know ultimately, okay, where do I need to go? And what do I need to do once I get there? And then I'm going to go find Luken and see if he can maybe help me with this mission so that I am not totally alone.
You are kind of sitting there thinking about a lot of these things, and a woman kind of walks up behind you. She is leaning on a walking stick pretty heavily, and she says, "A lot going on here, huh?"
Yeah, it's a lot, but somehow I think it's really good.
Yeah, you got everyone pretty excited. That's for sure. First night, everyone's excited. That's quite the spectacular introduction.
I don't think that we've met before. What's your name?
Imogen Glower. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Extends a hand. Her the hand that she extends, although her body and face up until this moment has been nothing but human, the hand that she extends to you, her right hand is entirely mechanical. And now upon closer look, you can see that also her right leg is mechanical. My dad, Naz, owns this kitchen. So I guess by de facto, I'm kind of like the princess of this gathering, since, my dad owns the place.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Your Highness.
A pleasure. She kind of offers her ring, her non-existent ring to you, and says, yes, the pleasure is all mine. How may I be of assistance to you this evening?
I don't mean to be rude, but I've never seen a hand like yours.
Oh.
Do you mind if I ask? If not, it's okay. I don't want to be rude.
No, it's fine. I was in an accident when I was younger, and I was very fortunate that was able to acquire these prosthetics, and now have a lot of really cool tricks I can do. And you can see, she's like, for example, I'm technically double jointed, and she can like bend her elbows in whatever direction she wants. And she says, also, I can write with either hand. I've got a lot of other cool tricks, but I don't want to, show all my cards all at once.
Right. Keep it close to your chest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sahra is incredibly charmed by this person.
I see that you had some of my dad's cinnamon rolls.
Your dad made these?
He did. Yes, he did.
This was the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. I'm not even exaggerating.
He is honestly an incredible cook. I wish he was as good at other things as he was a cook, but, we've all got our skills.
I mean, like what?
Oh, I don't know. Money would be good. This would be a much more successful business if he was better at money, but, it's hard to be good at money when you are a soup kitchen by day and moonlight at night as a meeting ground for a, what's the appropriate word for this group of people? A community gathering, we'll say? Yes, a community gathering of like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
It tends to, we'll say, when you're, it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
Financially.
Clearly, if this is your dad's place, you've been around for a long time.
My whole life.
When did these meetings start happening?
Oh, they've been happening ever since I was a kid.
Really?
I've never not known all of these people. They truly represent, in my opinion, the best of this city, the best of Venithar, honestly. They see that man over there? His name is Joel. He honestly cares so much about everyone he meets. It's incredible. You could probably walk into a room of strangers and he would know 10 people in this room. It's astonishing. That person over there, his name is Micah. He's gonna come across really gruff, but he is incredibly talented, and his talent has given him so many connections across Venithar that it is hard to meet a better business person. Every once in a while, we'll get a senator in here too. It's not unheard of. This is a really a cool thing, honestly. Yeah. And you, an accomplished witch. This is a really cool place.
So, Imogen, what do you think about all of this going on? I mean, there's so many conversations, but I'd love to hear your opinion.
It's My opinion on...
Your opinion on the Steelmarrow tribe, and, clearly these are people with a mission. What's your opinion of the mission?
I spent a long time when I was young 100% buying into the views of my dad. And I would be lying if I said I didn't have a short phase when I was younger when I rebelled against it. But now that I'm a little bit older and I've spent some time traveling, connecting with people outside of Risinium City, we turned our back on our closest ally in their moment of need. And now they live under a hostile regime. It feels like we're doing nothing about it. I don't even understand from a national security standpoint why we aren't concerned about them mining fell iron and doing who knows what with it. Fell iron is incredibly powerful, and there's a reason why it was the process of mining it was an incredibly guarded secret, and now we're just letting our enemies have it. Strategy is like the humanitarian crisis aside, it seems like a strategical error. And now with this cult of change popping up and rumors of us as a country coming down on them, I just don't understand where are our values? And it seems to be more and more the case that our values are just upholding the status quo.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that a system built on faith and faith in our gods, you would think that a big part of that would be upholding values. I mean, it's all about values. What do the gods value? But in the end, you're right. Our system isn't doing anything to uphold those values. We're just manipulating the system and to fit into what we want, not what's good.
And that's, honestly, if you want to know my real thoughts, that's the problem with a whole kingdom being built around following gods. They have their own agendas. And are we not just pawns in their games too? I mean, don't get me wrong, the Incarnate King and the other sorcerers who democratized magic gave a incredible boon to all of us, but it feels like we haven't really utilized that boon to its fullest potential. We used to depend on one of two things to get magic: the old ways through primal magic, which comes at great cost, or the gods. But now we have a third way through the study of arcane arts, and it just seems like we're not letting our society evolve.
It does feel like we're kind of stuck. And the only way to get unstuck is something's got to change.
Those are dangerous words, Sahra Manus Blood.
Well, you've created a safe space here where I feel like I can say that.
My dad has created a safe space. Just to be clear, he hates it when I take too much credit. Again, just a princess. Just a princess.
Sahra, again, is like deeply charmed by this person, and she is feeling like she's found like an actual friend, which is exciting. And so she looks at Imogen and she's like, I'd love to see you again sometime. What are you doing like later this week? Would you want to talk again soon?
Yeah, I can be free. I have a couple days off later this week.
I know this really beautiful place. It's kind of on the edge of the city, but it's got a really beautiful view of the sea, and it has some shady trees that we could just relax and talk. Would you want to meet me, maybe meet here and then we can walk together?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Then it's a date.
You've been listening to Faith and Fortune by Theater of the Mindset. Our actual players this season are Steve Edinger, Shelby Meyers, Nick Traeger, and your kind and generous GM, Justin Gerardot. Audio engineering, post-production, and scoring is done by Nick Traeger at Studio 3607. If you're enjoying the show, you can help us grow with no capital investment by sharing it with a friend, following us on Instagram and Reddit, writing us a review on your favorite podcatcher, or you can chip in for coffee at our Patreon. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on Theater of the Mindset.